This is the first video. This will be one of many videos where I'll be covering anything related to Amazon PPC. So hopefully this first video will be full of value because what I'm about to cover, which is the Amazon Advertising Campaign Tracker, is something that I haven't seen mentioned by anybody else or in any other course that I know of or any videos online. It may well have been covered by somebody else, but it's something that is probably very much underutilized and maybe not even thought of by many people in the Amazon game. So yes, so it's basically a campaign tracker, and as it says, they're highly recommended for better structure and organization of the Amazon PPC. So this is like foundational stuff. It won't directly impact sales, it won't add sales to the Amazon PPC, but it will certainly make life easier when managing the PPC, especially if you have a big account, hundreds of campaigns. It can be a nightmare to kind of manage those campaigns without a good structure, and this campaign tracker will make life 10 times easier. This is actually why I kind of developed this campaign tracker, and it's nothing groundbreaking, it's super basic, but it just makes my life easier when I manage my Amazon PPC clients. So this tracker is ideal for anybody that kind of touches Amazon PPC. It's ideal for anybody that sells products on Amazon and manages their own PPC. It's ideal for freelancers that manage PPC for other Amazon sellers, and it's also ideal for agencies. I mean, I would be very shocked, surprised if an agency doesn't have something like this up and running. So yeah, this is kind of, as I say, foundational stuff, but then at the same time it's probably more advanced than what you would usually find in PPC courses, which is why it's not always covered in courses, or hasn't been covered in most courses from my knowledge. So yeah, hopefully this is a golden nugget for you guys, because this is something that I'm kind of giving away to you for free. And as I say, it won't directly add sales to the PPC account, but it will help going forward with managing the PPC and kind of keeping on top of things. So let me just show you, and as I say, it's nothing groundbreaking. Let's move me out of the way. So, and this is something you can kind of develop and adapt over time, depending on the way you manage your Amazon advertising. So there's two, at least from the way I've kind of structured it, there's two different structures, two different document types. So this is the first one. We've got different tabs based on the ad types. We have sponsored products, sponsored brands, and sponsored display. And obviously this is kind of useful for an account that only has advertising on the one marketplace. However, as most kind of brands on Amazon nowadays actually sell across multiple marketplaces, this is the structure that is kind of mostly adopted in my agency. So this is the kind of structure that I use for the vast majority of my clients. And yeah, each tab is essentially different marketplaces, and then of course with that you can add additional tabs that you might feel necessary to make your life easier when managing the advertising. I like to add a strategy tab, and I like to add an additional info tab. The strategy is self-explanatory. If I have a strategy that I want to implement going forward, or if I kind of want to track those strategies, because occasionally we will change the way that we approach different campaigns or bid adjustments. We might go aggressive, we might pull back depending on the stock, depending on the price and deals and so on. So that's just another way of tracking there. And then additional info. So as it says, self-explanatory, additional info, that any notes you might want to make. But the real gold in this is how we track the campaigns. So as I say, super simple stuff. We got a column just for the product names, which is a fixed column. We have a column for target ACoS percentage, SKU, ASIN, and then of course in this particular structure we have columns per campaign type / strategy type. So we have sponsored product exact, phrase, broad, auto. We have PAT, which is product attribute targeting, which is obviously the ASINs and categories. I like to kind of batch them together, but that can be broken down into another 2 columns. Then we have sponsored brand exact, phrase, broad, video, product targeting video. So the ASINs and categories, again, that can be broken into another column. Sponsored brands product targeting, again, that can be broken into another column, into ASINs and categories. We have store spotlight. We can even add additional columns there, which this is the very basic, as it says there, campaign tracker template. But you can actually add additional ones there, like custom image campaigns. So now that Amazon kind of allow custom images to be added to sponsored brand campaigns, it's good to kind of target the ones with and without, in my opinion. So that will be maybe 2 extra columns there. We also have sponsored display, Amazon audience, sponsored display, remarketing, and then product targeting. So as you can see, this is kind of it saves so much time, especially when you have hundreds of products to manage. Even 10 products, even 5 products, even if you're just managing 5 products, there are so many different campaign types that can be launched that when you just glance at the PPC, you may think everything is up and running, but actually when you have it set out like this, and actually you can set the cells as live, auto in draft, category in draft, or you can add notes such as could be refined, more keyword research required, and it just makes life so much easier. It just gives a better bird's eye view of the whole thing. So if you're somebody that kind of really wants to get to grips with the PPC, then I do highly recommend setting up something very similar to this. And as I say, you can make it into something that works for you. And this, as I found, works for me at the moment. I like to keep things simple. And as you can see there, we've got naming conventions, just something that I like to add as well. So when I jump into a new account, and if there has been somebody, a PPC manager in there before me, or even if it was the brand owner that was managing their own PPC, they may have a naming convention that doesn't suit my kind of methodology. So I like to look at a name of a campaign, and straight away I like to understand what's in that campaign, what it's for. So that's why I kind of add this column here. So if there is a new account that I need to go in and change all the names, then this is a way of tracking whether I've done that. This is kind of an optional field, a column, should I say, average conversion rates. So this is something I don't always utilize, but if a client has a particular kind of way of, likes to have a particular way of managing things from their end, then we can always implement it. And then we have notes. So whether a product specifically is out of stock, or whether a client wants to hold off on certain campaigns. There are some instances where my clients don't like to launch too many campaigns at once, or they don't have brand registry, and so therefore if these are blank, that kind of note there tells me as to why it's blank. So yeah, I mean, this is a super simple kind of document, super simple kind of process, you could say, to better managing the Amazon PPC. And you might think it's silly, but I do highly recommend that anybody who kind of manages the PPC on a regular basis has something like this up and running, especially as Amazon continue to roll out new features, new kind of campaign types, and new features to those campaign types on a regular basis. And then we can just kind of keep on top of it. As I say, this is super basic at the moment, but we can make this way more advanced, and we can add so many more columns to this. There's so many different strategies that could be implemented here. I mean, if I was to just kind of say some on the fly, you could have an additional column here for keywords that you kind of never want to adjust in the PPC. You want to allow them to be aggressive. So some people call them hyper keywords, some people call them hero keywords, where essentially they are like the top search volume terms, and you are always going to be happy to go aggressive on those, so that it kind of brings in more traffic and also helps with the organic rank on Amazon. There's various different, and you could have competitor organic keywords where you go after the keywords that the competitor ranks for. What else do we have here? Say custom image, I mentioned that. There's so many different types of columns that we could add to this. But yeah, I don't want to drag this video on for too much longer, but hopefully this has provided some value. And what I'll continue to do is just continue to provide these little kind of tips that most people don't mention, most people won't cover. As I say, this is not something that will directly impact the sales, but it will certainly help with organizing the account, and I would have thought that long term this would actually help with the sales, because then you know what campaigns you have running and what campaigns you need to get up and running. So yeah, any questions, just drop a comment on this video, and yeah, have a great day.